Hello, YouTube family. Sorry it's been so long since I've downloaded anything. Been kind of just a lot going on with everything. But yeah, my seen my daughter got on here and downloaded a couple of her own. So just finding excuse those. She's going to have fun. Just decided to lead them up because hey, why not? Then you're welcome to the channel, Awakened by Yah. And today we're going to look at some of the lost books of the Bible and the forgotten books of Eden. In particular, I don't even know where I'm going to go with this. Just felt like I need to record something. Every time I read, I feel like I should be sharing it and updating something for us. So we'll just see where the Spirit takes us, the Ruach HaKodesh. And as you know, we use the sacred names here, God, Elohim. So I'll be trying, but this particular issue does not. I'll try to change the names as we go, so forgive me if we, I pause a lot. Okay, we'll do the Testament of the 12 Patriarchs, actually. These are really good. They took these out of, because it is something they took out of the 1611. This used to be scripture, but they decided we didn't need these. We'll just start with the Testament of Judah, firstborn. All right, the tribe that our Savior comes from. Excuse me. Well, let's see what the first one is here. We'll just pause it. Okay, excuse me, and let me correct myself. He's not the firstborn Judah. Reuben was the firstborn, so that's where we're going to start today. These are the Testaments of the 12 Patriarchs. Reuben, the firstborn son of Jacob and Leah, the man of experience, cancels against fornication to point out the ways in which men are most apt to fall in error. But these are a little synopsis of what's going to be through the chapter here. So that's like extra text. So let's start with the actual text here. And excuse my books. The copy of the Testament of Reuben, even the commands which he gave his sons before he died in the 120th year of his life, 2 years after the death of Joseph, his brother. When Reuben fell ill, his sons and his sons' sons were gathered together to visit him. And he said to them, My children, behold, I am dying, and I go the way of my fathers. And seeing there Judah and Gad and Asher, his brethren, said to them, Raise me up, that I may tell my brethren and to my children what things I have hidden in my heart. For behold, now at length I am passing away. And he rose and kissed them, and said unto them, Hear my brethren, and do ye, my children, give ear to Reuben your father, and the commands which I give unto you. Behold, I call a witness unto you, to say, the day of Elohim, of SHENAYIYM, that ye walk not in the sins of the youth in fornication, wherein I was poured out, and defiled the bed of my father Yaakov. And I tell you that he smote me with a sore plague in my loins for 7 months. And had not my father Yaakov prayed for me to Yahuwah, Yahuwah would have destroyed me. For I was 30 years old when I wrought the evil thing before Yahuwah, and for 7 months I was sick unto death. After this I repented with set purpose of my soul for 7 years before Yahuwah. Yahuwah. Excuse me. And wine and strong drink I drank not, and flesh entered not into my mouth, and I ate no pleasant food, but I mourned over my sin, for it was great, such as not yet been in Yasharel. And now hear me, my children, what things I saw concerning the 7 spirits of deceit when I repented. 7 spirits, therefore, are appointed against men, and they are leaders in the works of youth. And 7 other spirits are given to him at his creation, that through them should be done every work of man. The first Ruach of life, which is the constitution of man, is created. The second is the sense of sight, which ariseth desire. The third is the sense of hearing, which cometh teaching. The fourth is a sense of smell, which tastes are given to draw air and breath. The fifth is the power of speech, with which cometh knowledge. The sixth is a sense of taste. Okay, excuse me, folks. We're going to jump back and we're going to go from this one to the Sefer, because I remember that I had this in my, it's not actually in the Millennium Edition, but in my Bereshith book on the beginnings. So I forgot that he had offered this, and see, it's AYDUTH, SHENAYIYM, ASAR, ABATHY. I'm sorry, I know I'm messing that up. And Reuben, firstborn son of Yaakov, and Leah. Okay, we were about here. I'm going to go ahead and reread chapter 2. And see, it's a little easier. Now hear me, my children, what things I saw concerning the 7 ruach of deceit, ruach of deceit. When I repented, 7 ruach therefore were appointed against men, and they are the leaders in the works of youth. 7 other ruach are given to him as his creation, that through them should be done every work of man. The first is the ruach of life, with which constitution of man is created. The second is the sense of sight, which arises desire. The third, the sense of smell, with which tastes are given. The third is the sense of hearing, with which comes teaching. The fourth, the sense of power of speech, of which comes knowledge. The sixth is the sense of taste, which comes the eating of meats and drinks, and it is by its strength and power of procreation and sexual intercourse, with which, through love of the first of that youth, because it is filled with ignorance, and leads the youth as a blind man to a pit, and as a beast to a precipice. Chapter 3. Besides all these, there is an 8th ruach of sleep, which has brought about the trance of nature in the image of death. With these ruach are mingled the ruach of error. First, the ruach of fornication is seated in nature and in senses. The second, delivering the gall. The second, the ruach of insatiableness in the belly. The third, the ruach of fighting in delivering gall. The fourth is the ruach of obsequiousness and chicanery, that through officious attention one may be fair in seeming. The fifth is the ruach of pride, that one may be boastful and arrogant. Let me take that one again. The third, the ruach of fighting and delivering gall. The fourth, the ruach of obsequiousness and chicanery, that through officious attention one may be fair in seeming. The fifth is the ruach of pride, that one may be boastful and arrogant. The sixth is the ruach of lying, and perdition and jealousy, to practice deceits and concealments from kindred and friends. The seventh is ruach of injustice, which is thefts and acts of rapacity, that a man may fulfill the desire of his heart. For injustice works together with the other ruach by taking of gifts, and with all these ruach of sleep is joined, which is that of error and fantasy. And so perhaps every young man, darkening his mind from the truth, and not understanding the Torah of Elohim, nor obeying the admonitions of his fathers, as befell me also in my youth. And now, my children, love the truth, and it will preserve you. Hear the words of Reuben, your father. Pay no heed to the face of a woman, nor associate with another man's woman, nor meddle with the affairs of womankind. For had I not seen Bilhah bathing in a covered place, I had not fallen into this great iniquity. For my mind taking into thought of a woman's nakedness, suffered me not to sleep until I had wrought the abominable thing. For while Yaakov our father had gone to Yeshach his father, when we were in Eder near Ephrathah in Bethlehem, Bilhah became drunk and was asleep, uncovered in her chamber. Having therefore gone and beheld her nakedness, I wrought the impiety without her perceiving it, and leaving her sleeping I departed. And forthwith an angel of Elohim revealed to my father concerning my impiety, and he came and mourned over me, and touched her no more. Interesting, huh? How do you think? What crowd feel about that today? Chapter 4. Pay no heed, therefore, my children, to the beauty of women, nor set your mind on their affairs, but walk in singleness of heart in the fear of Yahuwah, and expend labor on good works, and on study, and on your flocks, until Yahuwah give you a woman, whom he will, that ye suffer not, as I did. For until my father's death, I had not boldness to look in his faith, or to speak of my brethren because of the reproach. Even until now, my conscience causes me anguish on account of my impiety. And yet my father comforted me much, and prayed for me unto Yahuwah, that the anger of Yahuwah might pass from me, even as Yahuwah showed. And thenceforth, until now, I have been on my guard, and sinned not. Therefore, my children, I say unto you, observe all things whatsoever I command you, and ye shall not sin. For a pit unto the soul is the sin of fornication, separating it from Elohim, and bringing it near to idols. Because it deceives the mind and understanding, and leads young men into Sheol before the time. Let me back on that to 4:6. For a pit, therefore, my children, I say unto you above, observe all things whatsoever I command you, and ye shall not sin. For a pit unto the soul is the sin of fornication, separating it from Elohim, and bringing it near to idols. Because it deceives the mind and understanding, and leads young men into Sheol before their time. For many has fornication destroyed, because though a man be old or noble, or rich or poor, he brings reproach upon himself of the sons of men, and the derision with Baal. For we heard regarding Joseph how he guarded himself from a woman, and purged his thoughts from all fornication, and found favor in the sight of Elohim and men. For the Metzrith women did many things unto him, and summoned magicians, and offered to him love potions, but the purpose of his soul admitted no evil desires. Therefore the Elohim of your fathers delivered him from every evil and hidden death. For fornication overcomes your mind, overcomes not your mind, neither can Baal overcome you. So that's very important in these days. For fornication overcomes not your mind, neither can Baal overcome you. For evil are women, my children, since they have no power nor strength over man. They use wiles to outward attractions, that they may draw him unto themselves, and whom they cannot bewitch by outward attractions, they overcome by craft. Moreover, concerning them, the angel of Yahuwah told me and taught me that women are overcome by the ruach of fornication more than men, and in their heart they plot against men, and by means of their adornment they deceive their minds in the glance of the eye, and instill the poison, and even though the accomplished act they take them captive. For a woman cannot force a man openly, but by harlot's bearing she beguiles him. Flee therefore fornication, my children, and command your women and your daughters that they adorn not their heads and faces to deceive the mind, because every woman who uses the wiles has been reserved for eternal punishment. For thus they allured the watchers who were before the flood. For as they continued beheld them, they lusted after them, and they conceived the act in their mind. And they changed himself into the shape of men, and appeared to them when they were with their men. And the woman, lusting their minds after the forms, gave birth to Nephilim, for the watchers appeared to them as reaching even unto heaven. So they deceived them into believing that they were from heaven. Beware therefore of fornication, and if you wish to be pure in mind, guard your senses from every woman, and command the woman likewise not to associate with men, that they also may be pure in mind. For constant meetings, even though the wicked deed not be wrought, are to them an irredeemable disease, and to us a distraction of Baal, and eternal reproach. For in fornication there is neither understanding nor righteousness, and all jealousy dwells in the lust thereof. Therefore when I say unto you, ye will be jealous against the sons of Levi, and ye will seek to be exalted over them, but ye shall not be able. For Elohim will avenge them, and shall die by an evil death, and ye shall die by an evil death. For to Levi Elohim gave sovereignty, and to Yehuda with him, and to me also, and to Dan and Joseph, that we should be for rulers. Therefore I command you to hearken to Levi, because he shall know the Torah of Yahuwah, and shall give ordinances for judgment, and sacrifices for all Yasharel, unto consummation of the times, as the appointed high priest, of whom Yahuwah spoke. I adjure you by Elohim of heaven, to do truth each one to his neighbor, and to entertain love each one for his brother, and draw near to Levi in humbleness of heart, that he may receive a blessing from his mouth. For he shall bless Yasharel and Yehuda, because him has Yahuwah chosen to be king over all the nation. For he shall bless Yasharel and Yehuda, because him has Yahuwah chosen to be king over all the nation. I wonder who is going to do that. And bow down before his seed, for on your behalf it will die in wars, visible and invisible, and will be among you an eternal king. And Reuben died, having given these commands to his son. They placed him in a coffin until they carried him upon the Mitzrayim, and buried him in Chevron, where in the cave where his father was. Okay, well there it is, folks. Let's see if I can get this turned around here. And a second.